Welcome to your 5 minutes of self-care. Today, I'd like to share with you my experience from last week. Last weekend, I went to the Shaolin Temple Europe basic Kung Fu workshop, and it was one of the greatest experiences I could imagine I could have at my age, to be able to push my limits in a healthy way and my boundaries, and also learning more about resilience, perseverance, practice, and also communication, as well as like-minded community. I felt genuinely very comfortable because I was in a like-minded community where we really enjoyed movement, spirituality, and we were able to speak the same language. So I had specifically a sparring partner, and I have a lot of respect for her because she overcame not an easy time with disease. And through this specific practice, the Qigong practice, and also the training she received from Shaolin Temple Europe, she was able to turn it around and was empowered with tools to decondition and deprogram her body. So why am I telling you this? Because I'd like you to understand that age is just a number. That we are able to really take our mind to a different level, mind over matter. And even if we get told in certain stages that there is nothing that can help us or to cure us, follow your intuition and this strong will within ourselves to find ways. And they will be sometimes in alternative ways, in holistic ways. I'm not saying to you, I'm not a physical practitioner, I'm not a doctor to tell you not to take medicines and medications. I believe there's always an approach where you take Western and Eastern treatments into consideration. But what I'm saying to you is, I thought many times when I felt pain in my body, okay, I have to be careful. And I realized, what is this pain? Where does this come from? This is something underlying in my body that is coming out now. And I realized it was like scar tissue. It was like a trauma that I have had in my body. And I realized this is a weakness. I need to go inside. I need to work with it. And this is really what I've learned this weekend, to work with it. And my sparring partner, she learned this too, with all the 10 times she visited this temple. And it is true, sometimes we have discomfort, we have pain, like we have emotions that are not always comfortable, but it does not mean that we need to ignore them, numb them. We go inside of them to work with them, to heal them. And this is very important, how powerful your mind can be, vibration, frequency. And this is a holistic approach. So through the physical exercise and movement, we go through the layer of our physical being. Like we can also, the teachings of Ayurveda and yoga, looking at the Panchamaya model, they do exactly address all of the layers of our being, all the facets, meaning it's not only the physical layer and the emotional and the mental and the wisdom body, but it's also the spiritual layer. And what I loved about all these rituals we had, for instance, eating, that we did not speak while we were eating because we were focusing in gratitude on that nourishing food we had on the table. And we sometimes don't realize that how lucky we are that we have food on the table, that we have a roof on top of our head. And these were the little rituals that I needed to remember that they exist. And I learned them anyways through my childhood, growing up in an Asian household, like born in Indonesia to a Chinese father and a German mother. And I forgot. And sometimes it is good to do exactly these weekends, to step out, to experience something new, to then also understand what takeaways you have. How can you nourish these takeaways within your life now, the daily life? Because obviously, training 6 hours a day is not possible when you work full time. So I had to rearrange now my morning routine because I like to further explore the whole martial arts according to Shaolin. And I like to explore more how I can take my body to the next level and my mind, my spirit, the entire facets of my multidimensional being. So when you now are in a moment where you have not done any exercise, any movement, or any practice, or spiritual practice, or any meditation or breathing exercises, it's never too late to start. And there are many different entry points. Like for instance, the 12 months self-mastery program by Shaolin Temple Europe online offers you a way of entering in it in a subtle way. I'm not saying to you it's easy. I'm just saying it's a subtle way that addresses exactly the needs of someone who has a professional lifestyle, who has family, who has work. And that's what I really appreciate about it. So it's never too late. There are many programs. If this is this program, if it's a yoga program, if it's Dr. Joe Dispenza's Neuroscience program, the Advanced Progressive Workshop, whatever rocks your boat, but start. And go beyond the threshold of your discomfort. Explore, because this is as much as we are unconditioning, deprogramming ourselves from the traumas we have received from this lifetime between 0 and 7 years old, or previous lifetimes, so ancestral trauma. We are able to condition ourselves again with new healthy layers and new healthy experiences. So as much as we're trying to unlayer and uncondition, we can recondition ourselves. That, for instance, your body becomes stronger, younger, longevity. I am way fitter now than when I was 28, when I was 30, when I was 35. And I'm actually surprised by it. But then I'm not, because I know exactly how this whole thing functions. So I like you to explore this week, what are your limits? And if you do physical movements and exercises, can you get yourself more out of the comfort zone? And when you feel discomfort, can you go inside of this? Can you go inside and figure out where this comes from? And I bet with you that it's an underlying trauma that you have not dealt with, and it has manifested itself in a physical form.